and welcome to this tutorial that is the Wallicorn. I'm Tess and I'm gonna guide you on how to make this adorable little wall hanging make that my kids have been loving lately. It's absolutely super cute and it has two friends. We have the fox and we have the bunny, and I will be showing them in separate video tutorials. Okay, so today we're focusing on this one, so let's get going and see what you will need to make one. So to make the Wallicorn, you will need 7 kinds of yarn to make this exact one. You need a blue for the body, a white for the inner circle, the green for the leaves, and this lovely fuchsia pink for the flower, the lilac for the big one, another kind of pink for the embroidery on the ears, and then of course the yellow for the horn. So I have chosen to use Muskat by Drops, which is a mercerised cotton. Let's see, it's the yarn weight B, they say. And yeah, all the details are placed below in the info box. But this is what I'm using, and I'm also using a 4mm crochet hook that goes with it. But you can use this with probably many different kinds of yarns. Just play around with it and have fun. Okay, let's begin. So to begin, you use your main body color and start with a slip knot on the hook, chaining 45. So try to keep the tension throughout and just go with the flow. Just work those up and meet me to close, okay? Keep on chaining. 44 and 45. So there we go. We now have a quite long tail here. And we are chaining one more to finish this round. This will be our turning chain. That does not count as a stitch on its own, but it is the 46th chain, okay? So do that and meet me up for round number 2. For round number 2, we are keeping it really simple. So we are working 1 single crochet in each of these chains across, skipping the turning chain, of course. So we are beginning in the 2nd chain from our hook. That is our first, that is our second. And just go into that one and work a single crochet. Go into the next one, work a single crochet. So you're working in only one of the bars of the stitch here. Just going slow and steady all the way across. So meet me up there and I'll show you how to carry on, okay? So you should now have worked 1 single crochet all the way across, and don't worry, this twists and turns naturally like that. But just to notice that you should have 45 stitches, and the last one is this one with the little knot on. If you have tightened this before while you're working, just pull it out and you'll get into that stitch too. So to end this round, we are simply chaining 1 and turning our work. For row 2, 3 and 4, we are doing exactly the same thing. We are just working 1 single crochet in each stitch across, then chaining 1 to make the turn in work across. So we are going to have 4 rows of single crochet in total, okay? So keep on doing this and meet me up for the next part. So just keep on. Row 2, 3 and 4. 4 rows in total. So I'm almost finished with my row number 4, and I only have a few little ones to go, and you should end up with, if you're using the same yarn and hook and everything, approximately 25 by 2.5 centimeter long strip. There we go, the last stitch, and I do a chain 1 to close just because it will be easier to fasten off too. But as you can tell, it's super gorgeous already. And now when I cut my thread, I make sure I have approximately the same size as my piece, because when we are gonna join these two sides and we are using this as our way to do it, we will actually fold this and do it. But that is for the next step. So I'll just work up until here and I'll show you how to continue on with row number 5. Okay, so for row number 5, we are creating this circular shape and we are joining the two sides with this color loopy yarn and creating, as we said, the loop. So it's going to be a fun little round or row. I don't know, does it call? No, it's still a row. It will be a round. So you will start off by placing your little strip with row 4 facing you, the right side facing you. So you will have your working thread to the right. No, sorry, your starting thread to the right and your long working end to the left. Okay? And then you simply fold your work in half. And here is where you can use just a tiny amount of these ones if you feel like you need it. So we are joining these two sides by making a single crochet through both sides across. So 45 again is our magical number. So just go through the first chain row that you did and catching the first single crochet of row 4. Make a standing double crochet like that. And then you just go ahead and repeat this all the way through. Make sure that when you go through the corresponding side that you actually grab 2 loops and not just one. You see, you want not to just go into the top chain, but you want to grab that other one too, just to make it really sturdy. It looks neater too, because then the stitches won't be pulled. And then you can just remove these as you go along, taking it stitch by stitch. There we go. So you just repeat this all the way to the end, and it doesn't matter if you miss one stitch or so on the back. It will be all right. I won't tell. So yeah, do that and see you in a little bit. It now has the shape of a little messy snake here, but it will all be sorted out. If you feel it, it's really lovely because it's thicker in the blue since it's double. And then you have this single crochet line that just gets framed by it. You see it races almost, so it's gonna be gorgeous. So here comes the tricky part that is not that tricky. We are now taking our 2 ends. Make sure that it's lace flat, okay? It will be like this. Gorgeous. So we are now attaching the ends of our yarn and also bringing them together at the same time. So I'm just taking a needle, going from one side into the next, securing it just a little because it helps, like that. And then you can tell this is gonna be fun. So grab your needle and then you take, I will actually start with my working ends, the long ones, and then I will hide the beginning ends later on. But you just take it and then we are going to stitch together the sides. So we are just going into, we're keeping the blue yarn with the blues and the white yarn with the white. So I'm just going into one of the sides. This you can do whatever feels comfortable for you. We are going to place decorations over this segment. So don't worry if it's not super neat, but just try to keep it as neat as possible. I'll see if I can show you how I do it. I'm just working from one side to another, working not through the entire piece, just this layer, not working so I get lines on the front because I'm joining the back first and then I'm joining the front. So I'm just sewing a bit back and forth here. There we go. To the top. And as you can tell, I'm now on the front. And I think I can remove these ones now because it should be secure enough. And just keep the other ends away. And just go back and forth. Only through the top layer. There we go. We got a circle. So I'm hiding this end, just going in and towards the back. And on the back I'm just splitting the yarn and yeah, hiding it a little bit. This will be hung against the wall, so it will not be as visible as some of the other makes I'm making. There we go. And then I'm just pulling on the yarn, cutting close to the work and letting it go back inside the piece. And then I do the same, I'm just hiding the working end. I'm going color by color, so I'm doing the white at the very, very end. Okay, so with my white working end, I'm gonna make an invisible join to the second stitch of the row that is now in the round. So I'm just going through both loops, tightening and down. There we go. Like that. And then I'm simply hiding my ends in the white region here on the back. And that's it. So do that for both your working end and your starting end, and meet me up to start off with the ears. Whoop whoop. Okay, so to make the ears we are using the same thread as our main body, and I hope this is gonna show well because the light is going down here in Sweden now, so I will do my best to make this as bright as possible. Okay, so we start off with a magic circle, and into that magic circle we are crocheting 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I actually had to move the entire setup, so I'm facing another window than I did this morning. So, but whatever helps, right? Okay, so close the circle, and as you can tell I have left quite a long tail because I need to fasten off inside later on. We are gonna continue this one now in the round. So in the first stitch we are making a single crochet increase, that is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1 and 2. And if you want to, you can use a stitch marker now to keep track. I will not do that because it slows me down while showing you. I'm just gonna count, but it's a lot more easier to use a stitch marker, okay? So after I have done the first single crochet increase, you make 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And then you do 2 single crochets in the next. And then 1 single crochet in the next. So this should give you 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. Then I just raise the loop a bit and fasten off on the back side, the working end, okay? Do that and meet me up. Okay, so we are now continuing on with working a single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and make sure this is where the stitch marker comes in handy, because now I can tell that if I were to have a stitch marker, it would be this stitch. Otherwise it's easy to go into the same that you just were into. So just go ahead and work a single crochet in this stitch and in the next. And then we do a single crochet increase in the third. 1 and 2. And it's starting to bowl a bit, so let it do that. And just continue on with making 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. It's a little bit tricky in the beginning, it will be easier as we go, okay? And then do a single increase in the next. And this should give us 8 single crochets, so let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great! So for round number 4, we are simply doing 1 single crochet in each stitch. So it should be 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Like that. So we are starting to get the tip of that ear. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, I hope you can tell. Okay, so for round number 5, we are working 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're increasing in the next 1 and 2. Don't go through both sides, just go through the one that you are working in. And then we're working 1 single crochet over the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and you guessed it, a single crochet increase in the last stitch. There we go. The weather is so fickle today. It's sunshine 1 minute and then it's raining and then it's sunshine. So this is an exciting day. So now we should have 10 single crochets. And for the next round we are doing exactly the same, but we are adding 1 single crochet. So we are doing 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. A single crochet increase in the next. That is 2 single crochets into the same stitch, followed by 1 single crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And a single crochet increase in the next. So now you should have 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yay! And then we head straight into round 7, which is similar. We are working 1 single crochet over the next 5 stitches and then an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 4, there we go, and 5. Single crochet increase in the next. 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a single crochet increase in the next 1 and 2. There we go. And now we should have 14 stitches. And to make it really simple for us, we are now making 3 rounds of single crochets all the way around. So 14 stitches, 3 rounds, okay? Just go around and meet me up to finish off, okay? So there we go. It's a little ear. It's so cute. I have made 3 rows with 14 single crochets each. And now to finish off, I'm simply doing a slip stitch into the next stitch, cutting off the yarn, and then gently pull through the thread, like that. So do that for 1 more ear and meet me up to do a little slight embroidery here, okay? Okay, so to make this little lovely detail, all you need is some pink yarn and a darning needle. And then I simply thread my needle like that. Take my little ear and I'm actually gonna fold it so that the slip stitch that we just made are placed in the back, like that. And then I'm taking my needle, going from one of the middle stitches at the bottom, this is a really simple way of doing is just saying, so you're just going through 1 layer, you're not going through both, you're going through 1 layer. And then you decide how high you want this top peak to go. So I'm deciding it should be somewhere here. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4 rows down. And I simply just let my needle go on the back side of the work and just go up where I went down. Really, really simple. So tighten not too hard, but a little. There we have the first line. Then I'm taking the same thread and going up 3/4 up and maybe 1 stitch to the side. Just do what feels the best and do exactly the same. So I'm letting my needle go loosely on the back side. No one will look inside, so it doesn't matter. It will look fine. And just tighten ever so slightly. And then one more time on the other side. I think it's prettier when it's not perfect, so just keep on going, and I'm going up on the same place as where I started, just to keeping them a bit collected, like that. And voila! We have one tall, then we did a right, then we did a left, and to finish I simply take my needle and go underneath them or through them, just to gather them together here, and then go back down again. So I get like a little hug down here, like that. And then what I simply do, you can fasten off, you can do how you want it. Sorry, there we go. But the easiest way, this will not be shown, this will be inside the piece. So I simply do a double knot here. I just tie it off. And then like that. And then I hide the ends inside. Doop. Easy peasy lemon breezy. No one will ever know. And then to finish this one off, you will start to fold it and do a stitch through, so it will not be shown. But I will show you when we assemble it onto the main body, okay? So it's time to make this little horn, and what we will do is we begin top down, working all the way down here, and then we are cutting off a long tail that we will use to sew this embroidered detail on top. And so yeah, you want to save quite a lot of yarn at the end, because we are not only doing this, but we are also using that thread to fastening it onto our little unicorn, Wallicorn. So yeah, grab your yellow yarn and let's start. So this piece might feel a little bit tricky, but take it nice and slow and it will work out fine. And if you find your work to be a little bit too gappy, just go down a hook size, maybe to a 3.5 or a 3mm hook, okay? So what we will do is we start off with a magic circle, and then we are working 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we simply pull the tail out and to the back and close. And then we are going directly, we are working this piece in a spiral, so we are working directly into the next stitch and make a single crochet increase, which is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And I'm actually going to use a stitch marker just to make sure where I start and end. Isn't it cute? Works perfectly today. So in the next stitch, we do a single crochet. And then we repeat, so a single crochet increase in the next. And then a single crochet in the last one. No. Increase and then a single crochet. Sorry. If you are like me today, you can always just double check. You should have 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 when you are finished. And this will be a little bit tight the upcoming rounds, so I would actually recommend you to just fastening off this end right now, okay? So do that, and then we continue on with round 3 and 4. Okay, so I have fastened off my end to the back, and now we are doing 2 rounds of single crochets in each stitch. So 6 per round for 2 rounds, which means 12 single crochets, okay? And this one is awkwardly standing in that stitch, so our first will be over here. And here's where the stitch markers come really handy in place. So we are just doing 1, 2, and it starts to bowl. Just keep it, let it bowl. We are going to make it into a cone, so that is okay. So we have 2, we have, sorry, went into the same stitch. It's a little bit tricky with this color through the camera actually, but I should not complain. 3, 4, 5 and 6. So, okay, as you can tell, it's a little bit awkward, but just slow and steady wins the race this time. So it starts to look a little bit like the top of our horn. So do that one more row here and meet me up for row number 5, okay? So 6 more to go. So it's growing slow but steady, and now for round number 5 we will make 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet over the next 2 stitches. Okay, so 1, I'm totally gonna put, oh my, was I awkward today. There we go, 1. This is why I do flat things. This is really tricky to show. 2, and then we do a single crochet increase in the next. So 2 single crochets into the same stitch, 1 and 2. And then we do that one more time. So 1 single crochet over the next 2 stitches, or in the next 2 stitches, and then a single crochet increase in the last, making it a total of 8 single crochets to continue on with. You can just double check and it should be okay. And if you have any time feel like you want to consult the pattern, please do so. The written pattern is on our homepage. There are a lot of small stitches and combinations to keep track of, so use that. I created it to help. So for round number 6 we are kind of doing the same. We are, oops, my sheet note is running loose here. We are continuing on in the same manner of round 5, but this time we are making 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches and then an increase. So just slowly increasing here. So 1, 2 and 3, and then we do an increase. So 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and then we do 1, 2 and 3 single crochets, and an increase in the next one, 1 and 2. And now if you double check, you should have 10 single crochets. So for round 7 we are simply making 1 single crochet in each stitch, so 10 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. There we go. And as you can tell, it's starting to shape up a little bit now. So for round number 8 we are increasing one more time, so we are making 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches and then increasing, okay? And we're doing that combination 2 times. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Make an increase in the next, 1 and 2, and then you make a single crochet in the next 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then finish off with an increase in the next stitch. And now you should have 12 stitches, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. Okay. So for round number 9 we are building, so 1 single crochet in each stitch, which means 12 single crochets in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And if I had used a stitch marker, I wouldn't have to count out loud. So do what you prefer. I just found it a little bit tricky doing that whilst filming, moving it up and down from the row. For round number 10 now, we are increasing one more time up until 14 stitches. So you guessed right, we are making 3 single crochets in the next stitches, one single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then we do an increase in the next, so 2 single crochets into that one, and then we're doing a single crochet in the next 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we do an increase in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then we are making a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. There we go, and we are all the way back around, and we're actually on our final row. So for this round we should have 14 stitches, so we are doing 14 single crochets, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then to finish it off, we are simply doing a slip stitch into the next stitch. And now when we are cutting the yarn, we are leaving a long thread, as I said from the beginning, because we're doing that embroidery thing right off, okay? So just snip it off. I did an excess now. Okay, this much you don't need, but I wanted to have enough. So I'm just gonna pull this all the way through and get back to you, okay? So what you will do now is, this is our back side, so just positioning it so that the slip stitch is somewhere in the middle. It will be something like that, and then you just flatten it out. And what you will do is now to take your needle and going through some of the stitches here and just let your yarn go through it like that. This is optional. If you don't want to have the lines, you don't have to, but I want to have the lines. And then I'm just deciding on where I want to go with the line, how close I want the lines to be, for instance, like that. We're just simply leading it through. We're not sewing that much. So then I just go up here, and you can start lower. You can start going at the bottom, just making small movements up, down this one, but we are placing flowers here too, so I'm giving it a little bit of a space. So as you can tell, I think I made it almost halfway up and then a little bit up way there, and then I'm making one, I think, about over here. So I know I hate those patterns where it says just place it where you want to, but in this case, place it where you want to. Sorry. But yeah, this is simply all I do. I just go all the way around, really slow and not tightening too hard, okay? Because then you will misshape your entire thing, and that would be terrible. So we are just, I think I'm actually gonna secure one here. You will notice if it is a good position or not, because if you leave too much space between, it will be too loose, and if you take too close, there will not be so much lining going on. So you can also do this in like a gold or a white or something contrasting just to make it pop, but I'm doing it with the same thread. And then when I have reached the top, I simply just go down the center, like just down the middle, grab it and pull through like that. Not pulling it too tightly because then you will get this to concave inwards. So you're just doing like that, and then you take your needle and just, I will just do it like this. I have so much yarn at my hands. Oh my, there we go, and just secure it down here. So when we, as we did with the leaves, when we tug on this later to attach it to the main piece, the line that we just created will not go anywhere. Okay, so there we go. So when I tug on this, nothing happens to the line, but we now have a cute little line running up our work. It's almost invisible. And if you are missing something, you can always go in and adapt later on, but this is just an easy way to do it. So I will take my 100 miles of yarn and put this to the side, and then we are going to make the leaves, okay? So we have come to the time to make these lovely little leaves that we are placing all the way around. So we are going to make 4 of these for this one, and they are really simple. They are exactly the same, all 4, but you can place them with the tip up and down, and I'll show you later on how to do that. But yeah, grab the colors that you have chosen to do your leaves in, and let's begin. We start with a slip knot on our hook, leaving a little longer tail than usual because we are going to use that to sew in the gaps later. What can mine be? A little bit over 10 centimeters, I believe, just so you have enough. Then I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like that. What we will do now is that we are going to use this as the stem of our leaf and working all the way around. So in the second chain from your hook, 1, 2, do a slip stitch. Then we are making a single crochet in the next, single crochet, and a half double crochet. We are shaping here now. And then in the next chain, make 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2, like that. And in the last chain space, we are working several stitches. So we are beginning with a half double crochet, and then make a single crochet. And that is the end of this side. So now we are turning it, and into the same space, I push the little knot here to the side, placing my yarn over it and making, oops, and making a single crochet, like that. It's hidden behind. And then we are also doing a half double crochet. So all that went into this space was a half double crochet, 2 single crochets, and a half double crochet, okay? And then we turned it around while doing it. So as you can tell now, we have some spaces to work in on our other side. So into here, we are making 2 half double crochets around that same space. And then, as you can tell, you have a new space here, and that you will make 2 half double crochets in too. So 1 and 2, making it a little bit higher and thicker on this side. So what we will do now, don't worry, just so you know, don't worry about the gaps here. We will sew them in with the starting tail that we were talking about from the beginning. It will look perfect, I promise. Now we will make the final little touch of this side, and that is a picot 2B. So that means chaining 2, 1, 2, and then going through the front loop of the stitch, seen here, and also 1 bar below. It's part of the leg of the stitch, like that, grabbing the yarn and making a slip stitch. So chain 2 and slip stitch through the front loop and the side bar there. And now if you are not comfortable of doing an invisible join, I would recommend to slip stitch carefully and then do it from there, but I'm going to show you how I do it. I do the invisible join. I'll find my scissors, and I'm cutting off quite a long tail because this is what we will attach the leaf to the main piece with. We are sewing it attached onto here, so you will need a lot of yarn to do that with, so just as much as you need. And just gently pull out your working thread from the stitch, not tightening it too much because then it will all go squished in there. So what I'll do first, before fastening this end off, I'm gonna use this one and shape the leaf. So I'm just taking the starting end, and then I'm going up this side, splitting the yarns in some ways, tightening slightly, going over here, and going down so I almost caress that little gap, pulling tightly, and as you can tell, it has disappeared. And then I'm just bringing my needle up, the same size that I'm at, the same side, tightening, going up and around. I'm not touching the picot up there, I'm holding against a little bit so it doesn't get too snugged here, but just enough to close the gap. And then I'm just working this back and forth to fasten off. There we go. And there you have it. It's now closed, there are no gaps, and so we can now go ahead and fastening off our beginning. And as I said, this will be done with an invisible join to the first stitch, not the slip stitch, but the first single crochet here. Or is it the slip stitch? I'm sorry, this is the slip stitch, and I'm actually going to join to that one rather than the single crochet. So the first one you see 2 bars of. So I go through the entire stitch and then go through the loop, and I just go right through one of the other stitches too. Ooh, don't make a loop. It should look that neat. Ta-da! And now I will very, very gently, as you can tell, I didn't tuck too much on it because if I do, it will just lose the little shape. I want it to be a little bit of a bend on it. Doesn't matter if you if you do it, but I think it looks better in this one. It's not the end of the world if it's not stay puffy. But it's part of the design. So just very, very gently pull it down. Go back up a short little way just to secure it so it doesn't get pulled on when you are fastening this to the body. And then one way down. So what I did was an invisible join to the slip stitch, gently getting my thread from here down here, going back up and back down just to secure it, so when I tug on this nothing happens up here. Okay, so that is all you have to do. So do that 4 times in total, so you have 4 little leaves. And then we can start on the flowers. Okay, so grab yourself some tea and get leafing. See you soon. Well done. So now we are on to the small sized rose, and for that one you need this lovely little pink, and you start with the slip knot on your hook, chaining 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, like that. And then we are going into the second loop from the hook and making a half double crochet times 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then into the same we slip stitch. like that. We get the first little petal, and then we're slip stitching into the next chain. And directly into the next one, we are making 4 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we are repeating this all the way around, so we are doing a slip stitch here in the same stitch, and then also in the next stitch. And then directly again going in and making 4 half double crochets. It's such a cutie. There we go. And the slip stitch. And in the next one we are making a slip stitch and 4 half double crochets. Yeah, 4 half double crochets in the next. I had to think there. 2, 3, and 4. Slip stitch into the same space and into the next. And then we're at our final little chain. We should have 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we are making the 5th and final little petal. So we are simply making 4 half double crochets in here plus a slip stitch. So nothing too complicated. 3 and 4, and then we slip stitch. Ta-da! So this is our flower. We will make it into a little bun now. So what we will do, a rosebud, is to take quite, I'm safeguarding here. I'm taking a lot of yarn. If you have done these kind of roses before, maybe you don't need as much yarn to begin with, but this is, rolling roses are not my expertise, so I want a long one to show you properly. So what I'm gonna do now is simply fastening off this end on the back side into this petal, and then I show you how to roll this and make it up to a flower, okay? So 2 seconds later. Ta-da! So the end is magically sewn in. And what we'll do now is simply roll and sew. If you have a better way to do it, do it. But this is how I do it, okay? So I'm starting off with this hanging loose. So I'm just gonna go through the back, the third loop on the back side. You see, front loop, back loop, front loop, back loop. And then the third loop down here. So I'm just going through that one down to the base, because I want to start at the bottom. 2 row, and now I have a lot of yarn, which can make it complicated, so don't do too much yarn, but a little. And then I just roll and take my needle through both. And then I roll a little bit more, trying to place it where I want it to be, hold it in place, and just simply go through with my thread, like that, and then I roll again. I hope I can show you, I hope you can tell what I'm doing, and just simply rolling and working through the yarn as I go. I will secure it even better when I'm finished, but by not doing too much now, I can shape it a little bit more later on. So now the last petal gets into position over there. So again, just taking my needle and working through the flower like that. And now, as you can tell, this is not fastening off properly because I totally missed a stitch there, but I'm just taking my needle again and working through. And then I'm going to sew back and forth here a few times, just grabbing it, and yeah, whoop. So this will be a wall decoration, so it will be sitting on a wall and no one will touch it, hopefully, too much. So it doesn't matter if it's a little bit messy, but I'm just, as you can tell, I'm just doing a little freestyling adaptation to it. And you have more possibilities to fasten the leaves even more when we attach it to the body. So that will work for me. I'm happy with that. So this is a little floral bud and it's so cute. So yeah, do that and then you head on over to the next, which is the bigger one. Exactly the same, but bigger. So we are on to the larger sized rows, and it's very similar to the smaller sized. So we're starting with a slip knot on our hook, and then we're chaining 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, like that. So now we are going to begin in the third chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, and into that one we are making ourselves 4 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we are going to make a slip stitch into the same stitch as we did before, and also a slip stitch into the next stitch, like that. And then we are making a half double crochet in the next stitch, together with 3 double crochets. So half double, 3 double, 1, 2, and 3. Then we make a half double crochet into that same stitch too, and a slip stitch. So a little slip stitch to finish it off. So half double crochet, 3 double crochets, half double crochet, and a slip stitch into the same space. And then we're slip stitching in the next one. If I can get into it. It was tricky today. There we go. And then in the next one we are making a half double crochet. We are just repeating this one. 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and a half double crochet, followed by a slip stitch. And then we are slip stitching in the next stitch. A little bit more stitches in each stitch now, so it's a little bit crowded. Then in the next chain we are doing the same. We're doing a half double crochet, 3 double crochets, half double crochet, and slip stitch. So keep on doing that to the end, alternating pedal with a slip stitch, okay? And then you're slip stitching into this very last stitch. So now you should have 5 pedals, 1 small and 4 large. And then you do just as you did with the smaller ones. You just roll it up and stitch through as you go. If you want to do more pedals to this one, if you want to make it even bigger, each pedal takes 2 chains, so just add that to your starting chain. So if you want one more, you chain, instead of 12, you chain 14, and so on and so on. And so you can experiment with this and have a lot of fun with it. So just do that and meet me up to start assembling everything. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces. We have the main body, we have 2 little ears, 1 horn, 4 leaves, and 2 flowers. And we will turn all of this into this in just a few minutes. And an autofocus that works. We will have this one ready. Okay, so what you will do now is grabbing your main body and your horn, and let's begin. I'm starting off with my horn. You can of course start with the ears if you want to, but I think it's easier to have this one mapped out. And to make life easiest possible for us during this time, we use these ones to help us. So to begin with, placing it with the right side out, right side forward. The back side is of course where the thread is, and just place it center top here, not on top of it like this, but like more line in line, okay? and just pin it in place. It doesn't have to be fancy, just needs to help you position it right. And then you take your needle and simply sew it on. I'm using small whip stitches. Do you call it whip stitch? I don't remember. Overhand stitches they might be called. So I'm just going through a section close to the horn and going up and through stitches like that, keeping them quite tight because I don't want them to show that much. So I'm just doing this all the way around. Okay, keep on doing it, just moving from the back to the front and then back to the back again. So here we go. When you have come all the way around, you simply just tighten up a little bit. As you can tell, this is what it will be looking like from the front. Just make sure that you're happy with it. And if you want to add a little line here, now you can do it with the last of your threads. Just remember to go the same way as you did so that it will, I can actually show you how to do that. That could be cute though. So you just want to go in the same direction as you did the first thread. Just go through a few of the stitches in the front like we did last time. And just make sure that it kind of lines up with the previous one that you have. So I'm just doing this because I think it would be nicer to have one more row here. So when I'm happy, I will not continue up now because I think this line will pretend to go with that line. So I'm simply fastening off on the back side, just working my way back and forth through the stitches. Nothing too fancy, just back and forth, and we're done. So to do the ears, I'm placing them with approximately 1 stitch aside, looking like this. You can tell from the back, approximately 1 stitch. You can do them closer to the horn or farther away. It depends on how you want them to look. So what I do is I'm making sure that I have my ends in here from the embroidery, and then I'm slightly, or a lot actually, folding this and work a few stitches through just to make it not so straight, flat lining, not so flattened. So just go back and forth through it a little bit if you want to, just for it to crease ever so slightly, and you need to go up a little bit in it for that to happen, like that. And then we are going back down because we want to start attaching it close to here. So what I do now is I'm putting 2 pins in here and going around exactly the same way as I did with the horn. So do that for both sides and meet me up to attach the leaves, okay? Okay, so now we got some ears. Now we need some leaves and some flowers. And I usually do this just on a whim a little bit, so I will try to do it as this one. Trying to remember how I did it is always so much fun. But I'm starting off with one of the leaves. Let's leave the other ones to the side. Good day, laughing at my own bad jokes. Okay, so what I'll do is I will probably start with that one, and then I'll attach, let's see how I can build this up. But I'm just experimenting around on how I want them to be positioned. And then I do that one there, and then I will probably do one peeking a little bit down, and then finally doing the little pink one. Okay, we'll see. But the thing is about attaching these ones is that you want to go through some of the stitches on the main piece and then through some of the stitches on the leaves. And I don't know how to best show you this while doing it, but I hope this will help. I'll just begin. Okay, So the important thing is to not go through the entire piece, only the surface here, because you want it to be clean and nice on the back side. If someone were to check your work on the back side. So I'm just have my yarn. I have my yarn and I go through some of the stitches here, going back and up my own work. I'm not going to sew attach the entire thing. I'm only going to attach the bottom piece because I want this to be movable. I don't want it to be too tightly sewn attached. And since this is only going to hang on a wall, you don't have to worry about child safety. So don't hang this over a crib because there is a lot of small little parts on this make. Hang it beside the crib then, on a safe distance, okay? So I'll just keep on going there until I'm happy, and then I'm just going once more through, cutting off the yarn. That. I now have my 2 first leaves on there, and as you can tell I left a little bit of a space between them. So I'm going to place my large little flower there, like that, and sewing it kind of on top of them and through. So that's my plan, and then I'm tackling the other side. I'm totally fighting against the light here, but as you can tell it's growing like this, so just keep on playing around with how you're positioning your leaves. I'm going to take one and place now downwards to cover the ears a little bit, and then one to place upwards, and then I'm placing my rose in the middle there. Okay, so if you feel like you have more spaces to hide and stuff, just do more leaves and more flowers and attach them on. Okay, so all has now been sewn attached. It looks amazing. And as I said, if you feel like it's gapping somewhere and you want to hide more things, just add a little flower or a leaf and you'll be fine. Okay, so for the final touch, you can either choose to hang it just with a pin on the back, or you can simply just take a piece of yarn, go through the back, just a few stitches, in the center, and then just do it like a little knot, and then a little beat. Nu blev det svenska. And you can simply place the knot where you want it to be, quite close. I will choose, and then cut the yarn and you're done, like that. Whoop whoop. Easy peasy. And that's it. Oh my, it's finished. Thank you so much for joining me along on this one. I hope you have had a lot of fun. Please give us a thumbs up, leave a little comment below, turn on the notifications and subscribe to our channel for more lovelies to come. Up next will be either the bunny and also the little fox. So stay tuned and let's see what's gonna hang up on our walls this fall. So cute! And there we have it. Our little Wallicorn is finished. All the details are sewn in place and it looks absolutely adorable. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and that you will be following along for both the bunny and the fox that is coming up after this one. So have a lovely, lovely day. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, turn on the notifications and leave a little comment with a heart or so. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye!